Welcome back to more mother-in-law stories where users share their crazy experiences with their own mother-in-laws, and we might even feel a little bit better about our own mother-in-law. If you are new to my channel, please don't forget to subscribe to join our awesome community, and without any further ado, let's dive right into the stories. And the first one is titled, My 24 female future mother-in-law, 50 female, wants to postpone mine and my fiance's wedding by up to 12 years because his father is going to prison. Original, so my future father-in-law has just had 2 more Class X felonies to his record and is looking at 10 to 12 years in prison. My fiancé and I have a 6-month-old daughter and have been planning a wedding that was supposed to be in September of this year. My future mother-in-law is trying to convince my fiancé to force me into postponing the wedding and even went as far as saying that we cannot have any more children until her husband is out of prison so that he does not miss anything. I feel sick thinking about waiting 10 to 12 more years to marry someone that I've been with for 7 years already. I definitely don't want to postpone having more children just so that he does not miss it. Am I insane? I mean, my daughter could be 12 by the time she sees him again, and I'm not waiting 12 more years to grow our family. We already have a venue, my dress, invitations have been sent, I have family flying into town. I may be selfish here, but I just don't feel as though we should be punished just because his father decided that being a criminal was more important than watching his first granddaughter grow up and watching his only son get married. I just feel as though he should have been thinking of his family. My fiancé has a sister that will be turning 10 and she could be 22 by the time he is out. Should she not graduate or go to college? Or get her license so that her dad does not miss it while he is serving time for his 6th felony. I just don't know how I am supposed to tell my future mother-in-law. Absolutely not. I will not wait 12 years to do what we've been planning for years and to give my daughter a sibling someday. And a user in the comments said, this is absolutely hilarious. Her request is so out of line that you honestly should just laugh at her. She thinks her convict husband should dictate how you run your family and life. I think you know how to proceed here. And another person said, she thinks she should put her life on hold for 12 years just because he's not going to be around during that time. It is absolutely ridiculous. Update, I spoke to my fiancé about this and he had no idea that his mother was planning on this. I basically stated it as, you're not really planning on agreeing to this, are you? And I got a, hell no. In return, he basically said he does not even plan on visiting his father and said he needs to deal with the consequences of being an idiot. He's going to plan on telling his mother to F off. And guys, special question for the justnomil experts, especially the ones that have been watching me for a long time. What would you say about the husband? What does he have? Considering that he stands up against his mother. If you know what I mean, let us know in the comments. And the next one is titled, My mother-in-law, 57 female, does not believe that my husband, 30 male, is the father of our baby. I, 32 female, don't know what to do. My husband and I have been together for 4 years, married for 2, my husband is Indian, I am white. I've always gotten along with my mother-in-law. She was warm and welcoming from the beginning and I really like her. She was over the moon when we told her I was pregnant. Our daughter, Sarah, is her first grandchild. While I was pregnant, my husband and I joked together about how the baby might look 100% white. In all seriousness, we both knew she would probably look very white at first and get darker with time. She was born a month ago and does indeed look like any other white baby, but she has a full head of black hair and brown eyes. My husband and I think she is gorgeous. By the way guys, quick side note, if there's one thing I am really jealous about when it comes to Asian people and especially Indians, is their incredible black hair. I just wish I had that kind of thick hair. But anyway, let's continue with the story. My husband and I decided early on that we did not want any visitors in the hospital while I was giving birth and that we wanted 1 week at home with her before introducing her to family members. We just wanted a little privacy and peace during a crazy time. My mother-in-law was not thrilled by this, but she did respect it. She came to our house 3 weeks ago with my father-in-law and sister-in-law. She had a huge grin on her face as I walked towards her with Sarah in my arms, but when she saw my baby's face, everything changed. She began shrieking, and I mean shrieking, that the baby was not my husband's. My husband and I were stunned, the baby started to cry and everything sort of dissolved into chaos. My husband tried to explain that it is totally normal for the baby to be so pale, but she would not calm down enough to hear him. They all left without any of them even holding the baby. That was the weeks ago, in the weeks since my husband has spoken to her over the phone many times, telling her that he is certain that the baby is his. He even pointed out to her that she herself is light-skinned for an Indian woman, but since my husband is darker, she thinks Sarah should be darker. She has refused to see me or Sarah until we do a paternity test. My husband has no doubts about Sarah being his, but he has asked me to do the test for his mother's sake and for Sarah's. He wants her to have a relationship with her grandmother. I do too, or I did. I'm not sure anymore. My family lives very far away, 10 hours by plane, while my husband's family is less than an hour by car. I was counting on my mother-in-law to be a big part of Sarah's life, and she was very excited about spending time with her granddaughter. But now I don't know if I could ever leave Sarah with a woman who can come unhinged so easily. What do? Do I swallow my pride and get the test done? And even if I do, how can I trust my mother-in-law's behavior and judgment after this? And a user in the comments said, this is hard. On one hand, she needs to take a hike. On the other, you seem to want/need a relationship with the family. I guess I would have the paternity test and have my husband give her the results, but she would be on blast. Which is to say, the results would come with a lot of conditions from your husband. If you want a relationship with me or your granddaughter, you must sincerely apologize to OP in front of father and sister-in-law. You will tell anyone you maligned OP with that you were wrong. Anytime you act this disrespectful to OP again, you will not see the baby for X weeks. Edit, if you scream or act this unhinged again, you are cut off because I don't want my child or my wife exposed to this kind of behavior. If you bring up any BS about how the baby looks, you will not see her for X weeks. If your husband does not agree with trying behavior modifications with his mother, I would refuse to get the test. She might remain a jerk, but you need to be certain that he has your back. Also, I think there's a subreddit for South Asian Indians who are dating/married in the US, where I think you are, maybe cross-post there. And I gotta say guys, I'm not exactly sure if this advice is really going to fly in an Asian family, especially an Indian one. I'm not sure if in India it is also so insane when it comes to respecting your parents, aka you are not allowed to say anything against them like it is in Thailand, but I would assume it is not too much different. Therefore, the rules that the person in the comments laid out would probably not work at all if you ask me. At least they wouldn't in a Thai family. And by the way, if you have watched until here, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and if you enjoy my content. Thank you so much in advance. It would be awesome if we could reach 30,000 subscribers by the end of the month. Update to the mother-in-law baby story. I want to thank everyone for their advice. Everyone, mostly everyone, was very helpful, and it was validating to hear people say my mother-in-law had behaved badly. Yesterday morning, my mother-in-law called my husband while he was at work. She said she wanted to come back to the house to apologize. Seriously, didn't expect that. My husband told her he needed to check with me first. I told him it was fine as long as he and my sister-in-law were there too. So last night, after my husband came home, mother and sister-in-law came over. I was pretty nervous, but I tried not to show it. Mother-in-law apologized for her behavior. She said she knows that Sarah is her son's daughter and that I am, in her words, a good girl. She said that she's disappointed that we are not including Indian culture in Sarah's life. We gave her a completely Western name, except the last name, and we did not have any religious ceremonies for her, including the traditional Hindu baby naming ceremony. I feel I need to tell you that this was a mutual decision between me and my husband. My husband was born and raised here and is very westernized. While his given name is very Indian, he has a Western nickname he prefers to go by. We live in the American South and he deals with casual and not so casual racism on a regular basis. He has been pulled over by the police repeatedly for looking suspicious and even occasionally harassed at work. He does not want that for our daughter, so when we decided on a name, he was clear that giving her an Indian name was not something he wanted to do. We are also both atheists and did not want to do the traditional ceremonies from either of our family's religions. Anyway, my mother-in-law said she dealt with the Western name and the lack of a ceremony, but when she saw the baby even looked white, she freaked out. She reiterated that she doesn't doubt Sarah's paternity and that she's sorry she acted that way. She said she very much wants to be a part of Sarah's life. I thanked her for her apology, but I also told her how what she did made me feel. I told her that I had really valued our relationship and had been looking forward to her relationship with Sarah, but that I am worried now. I told her she behaved in a way that made me question her ability to spend time with Sarah alone, but I said if she wanted to she could prove to me that this was a one-time incident. I told her that my husband and I had discussed letting Sarah stay with her 1 weekend a month when she gets older. On these weekends my mother-in-law would be more than welcome to take Sarah to her temple and teach her all about Indian culture and the Hindu religion if she wanted to. However, as of now, that is no longer the plan. If my mother-in-law wants that privilege back, she needs to behave like an adult and treat both of us with respect. She agreed and told us she loves us both. We hugged and she cried a little. She asked to see the baby and cried full on when she held her. She cooed at her in Hindi. My husband said it was all sweet things and promised us that she would earn our trust back. She then asked if we would reconsider the baby naming ceremony. We agreed that if she wanted to plan it, we would do it. We are not thrilled with that, but we are happy that things are working out. I will be proceeding with caution, but I am optimistic. Her apology was sincere and it appears not coerced. She won't be left alone with Sarah anytime soon, but if she continues to be the warm, loving and sane woman we knew her to be before this nonsense, then a year or two down the road, everything will be the way it is supposed to be. And I gotta say guys, out of all the countries I've ever been to so far, India was probably my favorite one. At least for me personally, I found Indian people to be the nicest people I've ever met during my travels. And to be honest with you guys, but please don't tell this to my girlfriend, I would love to be in India right now if that stupid pandemic stuff was not happening. However, being stuck in Thailand isn't so bad as well. Has anyone in my audience ever been to India or Sri Lanka? Let me know in the comments. And the next one is titled, My mother-in-law, 50, female, married a convicted child sex offender, 50, male. My husband, 31, male, and I, 28, female, have cut contact from her as we have one child, one female, with plans for more. How do we prepare for eventual conversations with our children? Backstory for context, a couple years ago my mother-in-law surprised us all by getting a quick divorce, 31-year marriage to a pastor and moving 15 hours away to, as she put it, where God was calling her pursue her dream job with a fresh start. 4 months later she informed us she was dating someone she had known from her original hometown who also just happened to live in her fresh start town. Through the internet we quickly discovered he has a past conviction for molesting one of his own children. My husband and I did our homework and managed to secure a couple notarized copies of the records, including his guilty plea and confession. We confronted mother-in-law, she gave some sob story about how it was all a big misunderstanding. We presented her with the court document and she went off on us, yelling about invasion of privacy, etc. We continued speaking to her so we could express our concerns about what this relationship could mean for her future. 3 months after that she eloped with him. 6 months after that I had our daughter. My mother-in-law has never met her and we don't plan to allow her to do it, not in her current state of mind/action. She refuses to acknowledge that she was deceitful and does not agree that allowing him to be around our daughter is risky. The last time we tried talking to her about this, 8 months, she told us to get over it and love her anyway. She seems to be of the opinion that she made the right decision, that we should go along with it and be one big happy family. We have not spoken to her since, although family members, her mother, have tried to intervene and appeal to us by trying to make us feel guilty. Mother-in-law has made no attempts at this point to surprise us with visits or do anything legal like suing for visitation. The issue, assuming nothing drastic changes over the next several years, how do we prepare for eventually addressing this with our daughter and future children? I realize it is too complex for a small child to grasp, and I imagine we will need to reveal more as she gets older. Where do we start? How do we progress? And a user in the comments said, you and your husband should decide how much or how little you guys are comfortable telling her/them. When she's old enough, you could just say that her grandma made some poor decisions and married a bad person, and keeping them in your lives would potentially jeopardize her safety, so you had to do what was best for your little family. Edit, thank you to everyone who has commented with advice and shared your own stories. I read every single response and responded to as many as I could. As many of you pointed out, my husband and I have years to figure out what to say, and when the time comes we will be equipped with age-appropriate answers, though we won't be telling her that mother-in-law is dead, so sorry to those who have suggested that. Many of you also correctly pointed out that this is going to bother us more than it will bother her, so thank you for that. Until then, we will just keep loving her and raising her as best as we can. Cheers all. And guys, I would love to know if your mother-in-law made such poor decisions when it comes to her choice of partners. What would you do if you were in this situation? I think going no contact is definitely the right choice if you ask me. And the next one is titled, My 27 female future mother-in-law snapped at us this weekend. My fiancé admitted that he doesn't know if she likes me. My fiancé's, together 7 years, mom has always been nice enough. We've never been close and he always warned me that she loves to gossip, but we've never had any issues. When we got engaged, she did not seem too thrilled. I asked him multiple times if she didn't like me and if not, how could I change it? But he denied it, of course. I think she just has mother hen syndrome. She doesn't want any of her babies to leave her, and one of his siblings moved out recently, the other is moving out soon, and we just moved in together about 5 months ago. We are getting married in a matter of just a few months. All the major decisions, venue, photos, DJ, have been made already. My fiancé and I are paying for the wedding 100% on our own and did not ask a soul for help. My fiancé and I have been saving money, yes, but it hasn't affected our lifestyles much because we also both happen to get new jobs and recently where we each make more money while at the same time work a bunch of more hours, so we don't have as much time to spend the money even if we wanted to. It is almost like saying by default, with a few other small sacrifices thrown in, we don't go for weekends away anymore, for instance. Anyway, ever since the engagement, his mom has been throwing temper tantrums over the money we are spending, even though she has no idea how much we are spending. We went to a bridal event with her and she saw some flowers catch my eye, so she stormed over and told me that I cannot have flowers like that. Joke's on her, because it is the florist I ended up booking. I guess it should be worth noting that his family has never been poor or struggled, but they are not rich either. She also sees my fiancé a lot less lately because of his new job. I barely see him except for on weekends, different schedules. I literally only see him on Saturday and Sunday, and we spend almost every Sunday at her house. In spite of this, she keeps going around to her family and saying that we see each other every night and I won't let him see his family ever. Not true. Anyway, this Sunday it all came to a head. As soon as I walked into her house, she handed me a piece of paper with a phone number on it and said I had to call that florist because they are cheap. I already have a florist. I thanked her and thought that would be the end of it, but no, she kept hounding me about this damn florist. Dinner comes and she mentioned to my fiancé that he should buy something, I don't remember what, and he made a comment of, "Ha, I wish, but I have to save money right now." She snapped. She started going ballistic, demanding to know what he was saving money for and what happened to his tax returns and stuff like that. I am sitting here half angry, half confused, like what the hell does she think we are saving for? And then she started screaming at him for never wanting to be around her, spending all his time with me and wasting his money. According to her, his words were, "I have no money," which he didn't say. My fiancé and I both stayed quiet and sort of just watched her in awe. Her husband, fiancé's father, was the one to tell her to calm down. She dropped it, but I could tell she was seething up until the moment we left. When we left, I asked him again, does she not like me? This time he said he didn't know, which he's never said before. I could not help myself and said something along the lines of, I don't get it, even if we were not getting married, we are adults. Why would she have a problem with us saving money? We still have to live a life in the future. His response was something along the lines of, if she wants to continue to act like that, then she will see what it would really be like to not see me. It is driving me nuts. I don't have a lot of close family and I really wanted to be a part of this, but I don't understand what the problem is. Or what should I do? I don't want to come between him and his family. I want them to be my family. And another person commented in response to, his response was something along the lines of, if she wants to continue to act like that, then she will see what it would really be like to not see me. And then the person in the comment said, this is good, this is very good, he has your back. And I would say that's at least one good thing about this story. It is always important that your fiancé has your back, but still, if you are involved in such potential family drama, it will definitely be very hard on the relationship. Update to the future mother-in-law snapped at us this weekend's story. So, a bit of a short update. Yesterday my future mother-in-law was off, so my fiancé went to her house while I was at work to talk to her. I didn't ask him to do this, in fact I didn't even know he went. He said her comments had been really bothering him, so he told her why what she said and how she's been acting was rude and inappropriate. According to him, she denied meaning it that way at first, but eventually she apologized. I don't know if this will really help fix anything, but it was really awesome to know that he fully had my back and was not just going to let her get away with treating us like that. When I came home from work, I saw he had left me roses on our kitchen table. He never ever does sweet little things like that. I guess he knew I was kind of upset. And guys, unfortunately, we have already reached the end of the video. Please let me know in the comments if you enjoyed the stories today, because once again, this is another different source for justnomil stories, and if you enjoy these, then I will of course continue doing those. I think this is a nice mixture of interesting stories as well as updates. Furthermore, if you want to hear more justnomil stories, then I would suggest you to head on over to patreon.com/ripeyoutube, and for just $3 a month, you will unlock over 40 justnomil exclusive videos. But please don't misunderstand me, I already appreciate that you watch my videos and that is already more than I could ever have hoped for. However, if you want that extra bit of ripe stories in your life, then Patreon is definitely a good start. Thank you so much for watching, I hope you have a fantastic day and I see you again later tomorrow.